So the first look we're going to talk about is the textured top knot. If you guys want to pull out your cards and follow along, but we'll practice this as well. First thing you're going to notice is this is a really sleek, trendy up style, and it's super simple. So this is something that you guys can teach your clients, and they can take it home and style their own hair this way. So I'm going to walk through it with you guys, and along the way I'm going to show you some cool tips and tricks to really make this sleek and modern. So the first thing you'll start is by prepping your client. So if she were to come in and maybe need to be shampooed and styled first, what I'm going to want to do is make sure that I style this so that it's going in the direction of the ponytail. And if you look at the steps, you'll see that this is a pretty high pony. And for this case, we want to really follow their jaw. So you can see hers kind of comes upward, so that's about, we can make a pretty high pony on her. Some people have a more square jawed, so just kind of pay attention how this is going to look next to their face when they've got this all up. Let me lock her in place real quick. So imagining that we've already blown her dry in the direction that we're going, and for that I like to use, there's a lot of different products you can use. If your client has a coarser hair, maybe you want to use a perfect blowout or a smoothing cream, but for her I used thickening mousse because she's really fine. I want to give her a little bit more texture since her hair is super smooth. So what we're going to do is start by bringing all of this hair up into that ponytail, and I do recommend using a brush that has firm and soft bristles. It just really grabs all of those little hairs and brings them back. So this can sometimes be a little bit of a challenge with clients, so feel free to have your client move their head in the direction that you're going. It'll just help you as a hairdresser. So turn her as we go. And I'm really just bringing it all up, and I really want to gather all of the hair and make sure that they're smoothed in place. This is a lot easier because I've already blown her dry in the direction that I want it to go. If I hadn't blown her dry in that direction, this upward direction, then she'd have lots of little bubbles and hairs that would poke out, and it would be a real challenge to get her hair to go up in the direction that I want it to go in. So I'm just going to keep brushing her till we get her nice and smooth. And once I get all of the hair up, even though it's not smooth, I can start utilizing my shaping spray. We are using the alcohol-free shaping spray. The reason is it's a slow dry time. So it really allows me to work the hair before it dries. First I want to get it maybe about 90% smooth, and then kind of start really smoothing out those little babies. So as you can see, she's pretty much all up and pretty smooth, but we want to start working on these little guys. So you can spray the hair. You can also spray this on the brush while you're working, and it just really gets all of those little babies. So sometimes I'll just take the spray right on my bristles. Because it has that slower dry time, it gives me a second to start brushing the hair up before it dries. So really take your time while you're doing this. You don't want to rush through and then have little bubbles once you get your ponytail up. Just really take the time to perfect this high pony. I think this is one thing that you'll see a lot in social media right now, these sleek ponytails. So we really want to make sure we get it perfect. Once I've got her looking, I'd say about 90% perfect, I'm going to grab my little hair tie. What I like to do is do 2 bobby pins on an elastic, and the first thing you're going to do is just take one pin, don't open it, just slide it right in at the top, and then you can wrap it around to the other side, all the way around till you feel like that's secured, and then take that bobby, you can see, and just poke it right in there. So that's going to give you a really secure ponytail without having to let go of this like you would do a normal ponytail in our own hair. So you can see she's got a nice high pony. It is going with her hair, with her jawline. And she's perfectly centered. And we've got it pretty smooth right now. But what I want to do is go through and perfect all of these any little like bumps or ridges that I see. This is where I'm going to perfect it. And I can use two things for that. I'm going to use my shaping spray. I'm also going to use a rat tail comb and a little kabuki brush. So the first thing I'm going to do is really start working through and laying any babies down that you're seeing. And if you see a little bit of a bubble, all you have to do is slide your comb in and just work that little bubble out. Do you see? Slide that comb in and work that bubble out. You can go all the way around and do that, and it's just going to smooth any little, just little pokey pieces out. And I want to work all the way around with her. Same thing on this side. You can slide the comb in and work any little bubbles out. Because we want this to be perfection. Super sleek, super shiny. Now when you get around, excuse me, when you get around to these baby hairs in the back, sometimes I'll have my client lean forward just because it makes it a little bit easier for me. And you can spray up. Once you smooth these, you can use your little brush to really get any little extra flyaways. This just seals them all right down. If you see any little bubbles, go ahead and take care of that while you're here. And I really want you guys to take your time, work all the way around and get this perfect before we start working on her top knot. Once you've decided everything's the way you want it to be, now we start working on the actual top knot. First thing I like to do is give it a nice brush to smooth it out. Sometimes there's a little extra hairspray on there from all the smoothing. So once you've got this completely brushed out, if you look in the model image, she already has textured hair. So what was done with her is just some random little sections, nice and smooth, and they really just coiled it with her natural curl until it just curled itself and then pinned it into place. But this model doesn't have textured hair, so what we're going to do is create that texture. And I like to start in the interior and work my way out. So maybe if you want to spread this out, this is another time where if their hair isn't laying right, just have your model move their head. They can move. So we're just going to take a random piece, just random, smooth it out. And we can either twist and coil it, or we can do a ruching technique. With ruching, you're going to hold it soft with this hand and then grab one or two little hairs and just slowly push. And see how it just fluffs it up? So we're going to do that all the way around and just start pinning and working as we go. Some of the pieces are shorter, some are longer, depending on your model's hair. You can style it however you want. So take the piece, twist it, hold it loose, and then firmly grab little piece and just ruche that up. And you can go all the way down if you want. If you want to go halfway and kind of pull it apart, you can. And just start pinning into place wherever you see fit. Now we're going to start creating the shape. So I don't want you to use very specific partings in this. This needs to be very organic and soft. Just wherever you think the next one should go, put it there. And you just want to fill it in so you have a nice crown of these little waves and curls at the end. And sometimes it's fun to have the little ends poke out. If you don't want the ends to poke out, go ahead and make sure they're poking in and hidden. We're just going to keep going through and ruching and pinning. You guys kind of see what's happening here. I'm going to leave this top section out. We'll fill that in at the end. I'm just going to give a loose clip out of the way. I'm working all the way around the edge first. And these are, you can see about how much hair I have in my section. Not a lot, but not a teeny little bit either. Just enough to fill in an area. You can use little bitty sections, and these will be very small and textured and maybe tightly round little pieces, or you can use, you know, if you wanted to take bigger sections like this, maybe your person has a lot of hair. Can you take a bigger section like this and really ruche it? Absolutely, and that makes a large piece. So it just depends how much hair your person has, what you want to do with it, and how you want it to look when you're finished. And I hope you guys are feeling good about this. I think this is super fun, and people can do this at home. They can recreate it by just giving them a little bit of direction on smoothing and really how to prepare their hair for that up style and for that high ponytail. So you're keeping that sleek while making everything else textured and kind of fun. So these are the little ends that I'm talking about. Do you want to see them? Do you not want to see them? You can always just tuck them away if you don't want to see them. And I'm just continuing to go around and just taking random pieces. I smooth them out first because it just makes it prettier. If you want a really messy look, or you have that natural texture, do you have to smooth it out? Nope. You can keep that natural texture in there. But do you guys notice in the card that I handed you, she has bangs. So this is something fun that you can do with a curly haired client that does have bangs, or even a smooth haired client that does have bangs. You can totally incorporate that into this look. Once I've gone around the edges once and I've got just this top little bit, really start looking around and seeing what areas you want to fill in to finish this off. And it doesn't matter which way you turn these. When you're twisting and ruching, you can turn counterclockwise or clockwise, whatever you're comfortable with. Just make sure your bobbies are hidden and that she looks cute. And this is going to be the last section here on the top. Extra pins here just to make sure these are secure, but each individual piece has its own pin, so it's pretty secured. At this point, take your time, look around all the sides, see if you're liking your shape. I like that it's a little bit crazy, but still, she's a little slanted, but still in this shape, but kind of crazy inside there. So at this point, you can kind of pick apart if you want to pull it apart more. I left her pretty loose, but you can make this really polished and tight, or you can make this big and wild, whatever you want, just making sure you're starting off with that smoothness and then adding that texture onto the top. Cool? All right, let's move on to the next style.